is what I do. To get you in the mood. Baby, I'll do it all to get you in the mood. Are you? In the mood, baby.
Y'all know who it is. It's an I. Joey. I feel like $1 million bucks. Yo, you in that mood yet? Are you in that mood yet?
What's good? What's good? It's your man Dom.
And your man E. Welcome to Are You in That Mood podcast.
Yes, indeed. Episode 2. So, our brother.
Yes, sir.
I don't even need to ask, but I'm going to ask anyway. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling lovely. Shout out to all the folks that hit me up. Matt Stafford, y'all gave up way too much for him. Told y'all.
I might have been one of those people. But congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Rams won the Super Bowl.
It's been a while.
And,
it's been some years.
You know, I'm happy for him. I'm a hater, but I'm also happy for him. It's my guy.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, man.
but
Shout
yeah,
out Rams. Let's go.
I'm hoping you don't hit back to back though, because that means my Birds didn't make it to the Super Bowl and didn't win it. So, but for this year,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
indeed.
appreciate it.
So this is actually episode 2 of the podcast.
That is correct.
And episode 1, we just did an audio only, get our footing.
Yeah.
But this is the first one we're doing for video for YouTube. And
Hey.
remember to click like and subscribe at EasePlace0212.
Yes.
Also on IG, EasePlace0212.
Yes. Thank you.
Also on Facebook, Ease Place. He has a great cover photo. I'll let you look at it. But we're gonna start talking about the genesis of these battles in the face, or what we call face-offs now.
Okay.
And I remember about 5 years ago, I get a invite on Facebook, and it's to a party, and it says Timberland versus Neptunes, and I was very intrigued at what that was all about. So, but I'm gonna let you describe how you come up with the idea and where it began.
Okay, so it's always going to come back to Swiss and Timberland, oddly enough. I got the idea from Swiss. This was also about 5 years ago. Swiss and Just Blaze, they did a battle. So they came together. It was a small room, probably about 20 people.
I remember that.
And they brought their catalog of music, brought their DJ equipment, and they went song for song. And I just thought that was
And that's
a
when
great
Swiss
idea.
debuted. What did he debut the song?
The Bath Salt song.
Bath Salts,
The
yes.
DMX, Jay-Z, Nas, Jadakiss.
I
Nobody
remember.
had heard it, and people went crazy when they heard that.
Yeah.
So seeing that, it sparked my interest. I was like, man, I would love to see Timberland versus Pharrell do that. And
That's a great battle.
it really would be. The internet started interneting, and they put out these false claims that was the next one to happen, but it still has never happened. So I figured, why wait for them?
Yep.
I know the music. So
Only thing that made me mad was I didn't think of the idea myself. I watched the same thing he watched.
yeah. So I just was like, how can I make this happen? And shout out the folks at Sud House DC.
Yes.
They gave us a private area, and they allowed us to play whatever music we wanted to play.
Mhm.
And so basically I set up a Timberland versus Pharrell battle. It was in DC, and
it was dope. I was a guest there, and it was dope. I mean,
appreciate it.
He put together a nice little playlist, and it was a fun night. It was a fun night. The Sud House, we had our own floor,
Yeah,
and with a bar.
with the bar.
And
Yep, waiter, waitress.
Yep, the food,
Yep, food.
and it was a good time. It was a good time. So then, I guess it was successful.
Yeah,
Because you did it the next year.
yeah. So what I thought was gonna be, I was like, okay, hopefully like 30 people will come.
Mhm.
Ended up being closer to 75.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, this is a big success. And
Right.
then shout out my guy Leroy. He introduced me to what he does, because he does he's an actual DJ.
Right.
So he was like, I want to do something with you next year.
Okay.
So we went to Chapala's, which is out here in Burtonsville.
Okay.
And we did a 90s versus 2000s. And so that was our second.
Also a dope idea. We'll get back to that later.
That was our second official battle. And then I was like, you know what? Why not do this every year?
Mm-hmm.
And then the third year, we went back to Sud House. That was Rihanna and Drake versus Beyonce and Jay-Z.
I remember that one well.
That was fun. And then, unfortunately, year 4, as we all know, 2020 was COVID. So, we all stuck in the house. And that actually sparked what we're doing
I was
now.
going to say, that was the true genesis of what we do now online.
Yes.
And because I remember I went to all 3 in 2017, 18, and 19. I went to all 3 of the battles per se.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I dressed up as the 90s. I remember for the 90s, 2000s, I dressed up as Diddy in the Let's Get It video.
That's right.
And for Rihanna, I don't think I dressed up for that one. I think I dressed nice. I think I came in clean. I came in clean on that one. I remember.
Yeah.
And but I was really looking forward to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we didn't know at the time that COVID was going to hit.
Right.
And then, so from my end, I see that you were starting to play music on IG Live. And now I wasn't even really familiar with IG Live. Like I knew of it, but it wasn't something I ever did.
Right.
And then, but when you posted, you were like, I'm gonna do some music on IG Live. I'm gonna do it, but I can't remember. You have to tell me what your first actual live IG battle was.
Told y'all it always goes back to Swiss or Timberland. So my very first one, I did a Timberland mix.
Ah, okay.
So
okay.
I just we were all stuck in the house. I was like,
and this is when you couldn't even go over anybody's house.
Yeah,
this
you
was
couldn't
like
do anything.
True quarantine.
Yeah.
You were stuck in the house with your loved ones, and that was it.
Yeah.
You couldn't go anywhere.
So I was like, you know what? Maybe if I hop online, play some music, people enjoy it, that would be cool. So I did a Timberland mix, and I think we spoke afterwards. I'm
pretty sure I watched it and I was like, I gotta get in on this one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how that happened on my end. And ironically, I think my very first one wasn't with you though. You remember? Because my very first one, we did a Lyricist Lounge.
I remember that.
We did a Lyricist Lounge, which was Jay-Z and Joe Budden.
That's right.
And then you did Jay-Z versus Drake against Nielsen.
Ah.
And then
okay,
I said I would like to do a features.
That's
Jay-Z
right.
features versus Drake features.
That's right.
And that was actually my very first venture into E's Place. It was your personal page at that time.
It was still my personal page.
Yeah. So that was the very first one that I actually did. And the very first one I did against you, I have no idea what it was. I would have to go back and look to see which one. I'm pretty sure it was a big one. Because we started off big.
We were doing all big.
We started off big.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the battle I had against Nielsen, and then but you were doing battles against E was doing battles against his sister.
Yeah.
He was doing battles against Nielsen, her now husband.
Yep.
He started doing the battles against me.
Yep.
I think Marco another friend of ours, jumped in for a time or two.
Yep.
Then later, I don't think did you do your uncle?
Yeah.
He did one with his uncle.
Uncle Bird.
Who actually that and that started. So when we started doing them, the format was we would play a song. We would kind of introduce the song.
Yes.
Play the song.
Yes.
Then stop and kind of introduce the next song.
Yeah.
Like if we went back, it would look real.
That's wild.
It was play it, stop, talk. Play it, stop, talk.
Yeah.
And I can't remember how many. Was it always 5 rounds? Or was it always?
I don't think we did that.
Yeah, it seems extreme. I mean, granted, we had a lot of time on our hands because none of us was doing anything but being in the house. But I do remember it was the start stop kind of thing.
It was. It was.
And when you did it with your uncle and I watched it, y'all started pointing.
Yeah.
And not stopping the music. So when it was the next person's turn, you would point to the camera, and that would be the cue for them to go. So that way the music didn't stop. And it seems so natural now.
Yeah.
But it's like when you think like we was wild for stopping the music.
We were
at a point in time.
So I don't know if y'all remember when you got on IG Live. Obviously, when you get on, it gives you the split screen when you're with someone.
Yep.
So you would see both people, and if you're trying to do music with two people like that, like there's no okay, you go.
Right.
So it was like, okay, how can we kind of seamlessly make this go a little better? And it was like, what if we give a salute?
Yep.
And that's what it was. Uncle, salute, your turn, or point.
Yep.
And then the other person would play the music. So that's where that kind of started from.
Yeah. It definitely changed it. It changed the game and put us at an upper level. It just made it more smooth to hear. It wasn't stopping. You just keeping the music going, and it wasn't we weren't distracting.
Right.
With the talk anymore.
Right.
And then I remember one of the things. I'm gonna take credit for this one. So the very first battle, obviously Jay-Z versus Drake features only. I'm a big Jay-Z fan.
Yeah.
And I literally at the time I had posters of Jay-Z on my wall. So I definitely set up the camera where the posters were behind me.
That's
and
right.
You could see Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And then when Nielsen popped on, so the way on IG, you send the invite to somebody, then they hop on and then they pop up on the camera. So my idea was when he pops up on the camera, the first person I want him to see is Jay-Z. Like I wanted Jay-Z. I wanted him to be like, all right, this is your competition
this is
right
what
now.
you're dealing with tonight.
So then I wanted to get even more slick, and I said, so he's gonna see Jay-Z. He's not gonna see me, but the way he's gonna see me, I just wanted to let him know he was in for a battle.
Oh yeah,
because I ain't gonna lie, Nelson was talking a little bit. They were, the little Drake chirping and things like that. So I wanted to let him know early on it was gonna be a battle. So he hopped on. He said, "Hey," he had a confused look on his face. Like, where is he? And then I started playing Jigga My Nigga. He said, dun, 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 dun. That's all he heard.
Yep.
And then I walked slowly by the camera. I looked at the camera and then kept walking.
This is what you're dealing with tonight.
And he knew right then and there. He was like, oh, okay, this is what this guy's doing.
Yes,
I see.
Sir.
But I remember it well. I walked by, then I sat down, and we started the battle. But that introduced intro. The show, exactly. It started the intro, and that became a real fun thing. Again, we had a lot of time on our hands. You guys remember quarantine?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You remember it? We had a lot of time on our hands, and I would sit there and think, every time we had a battle, I would look at what the subject is, who I had, and how I can do an intro, I can dress up like the person, things like that, and then it just got nuts. With the intros, I mean, it got crazy. I remember again against Nielsen, we did Philly versus Chicago.
Yes,
and I knew he wasn't gonna let me get away with it twice. I knew there was something he had, and he was Chicago, I was Philly,
right?
And he dressed up as Michael Jordan.
Hello, Chicago. Thank you, everybody.
And he started off with the Obama victory speech. Remember?
He did.
He had the Barack Obama victory speech.
I forgot.
And he walked by, bouncing the basketball, twirling on his finger with the Jordan shirt.
Chicago.
Yep. And I had a Sixers jersey on, and I had the Sixers joint, and I played. God, I can't remember.
You didn't have the.
I had the belts.
Yeah.
I think I had the belts. I had the I had the Sixers jersey on, and I had my wrestling belt.
What it do, baby?
What's going on, baby? On my shoulders to show who the champ was. And I remember halfway through, I did a costume change and changed it to the Eagles jersey.
That's right.
So I went from the Sixers to the Eagles. But we had a good time. Tamilia dressed up. We did Michael Jackson versus Prince.
Oh yeah.
And Tamilia dressed up as Michael Jackson and did the. And did the Jackson 5 joint?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
E did a with Diddy bad.
Oh yeah.
Can't stop that.
Oh, he did the Diddy bop.
Yep.
He came in with the Ciroc. It was Diddy versus
bottle.
Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah.
We
I
did
had a Diddy sweatshirt.
Yep.
Had my bottle of Ciroc. Like you know
and
what
doing
time
the
it is.
doing the little Diddy shoulders. Yep. We had some good intros and some good times with that, and it was real fun. It was still is real fun,
Yeah.
but it was just just adding to it. We had all this creativity in our minds, and we just wanted to add to it.
That's right.
And but what we couldn't wait for, I know you and I talked about this so many times, but what we couldn't wait for was doing it live in person.
Yes.
And we had, if I remember correctly, the very first one we did in person was the first samples battle.
That was a samples battle. Yep.
And we knew we wanted to do a samples battle.
Yep.
And we knew what you and I had personally talked about was we wanted to see people's faces and have them try to figure out which song the sample was going to.
That's correct. Yep.
So we needed to do this live. So once it got a little safer, and we started venturing, businesses were still closed.
Right.
But E's place opened up.
Yeah.
And so we started doing it live.
And even when we were doing it live, though, it's not like what you see today.
Right.
You were standing over there
Yep.
in the corner
Yep.
playing your music, and then I was over here
Yep.
playing mine.
And
so we still had the salute.
Yeah,
at
we
that
still had the
point.
salute.
Yeah.
I was on Facebook Live
That's
at
right.
the time. I was on
Yeah.
Facebook Live.
Yep.
You were on IG Live.
Yeah.
So we had two different feeds going.
Right.
And we were still doing the salute across from each other.
Yep.
And the sample, it's funny because the samples came about, again, this is the Jay-Z battle. So during the Jay-Z features battle, I used to have two phones. I would have one phone. I would have my iPad with IG Live.
Mm-hmm.
I would have one phone playing the music, and then I used the other phone to try to do a blend. Now this is like Flintstones type type stuff. And I remember, so I said I want to do one of the features was the I Get Money.
Oh yeah.
Feature.
Yeah.
And so I played on the one phone. I played the Audio 2 joint, Top Billing joint.
That's right.
What more can I say? Top Billing.
This is chillin'. What more can I say? Top billing, that's what we get. Got it good. Since you understood, would you stop scheming and looking hard? I got a great big bodyguard, so step up if you wanna get hurt. Milk these gonna fold this skirt. I get money, money I got.
And then one of the lines is I get money, money I got. And then
yeah.
I switched it over to the I get money to the actual song.
Yes.
And then played the Jay-Z fuck. Yeah, and so that was actually the very first sample. So I tried to, there were times that I would incorporate samples, usually one. Now I'm wild with it. But usually it was just one sample, one or two per battle.
Yeah.
But it again, it led to the idea like we could actually do a whole battle
Yeah.
using samples.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do it live.
I think, like you said, at that point, a few people came over, and our goal was, okay, you're gonna know the second part of the song, but you don't know where it came from.
Right.
So we we played the first song, the original version of the
Yep.
song, and then, you know, we let it run for a little bit, say, okay, can you figure out what we're going to transition to?
Yep.
And then we switched over into the popular version or the remix version of the song.
Yep.
And that was a ton of fun.
That was a ton of fun. That was a lot of work putting that playlist
It's
together.
a lot of work.
It was a lot of work actually putting that playlist together because, you know, you got to, some samples are real easy.
Yes.
Like if I play Warren G Regulate,
Right.
and you hear that sample and you know, like, you know, okay, I know that beat. As soon as you hear that, the original version, which is I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
As soon as you hear that, I'm like, oh, that's the Regulate.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Some
So
you're
some
gonna
of them
know
are
just
real
like
easy,
that.
but some you got to really think about it. And then once the actual version, remix version, or the remake version comes up, you're like,
That's
where it's from.
And that's what we wanted. We wanted that's what that is.
Yep. And that's what we got. And then we did a block party.
Oh yeah.
You know, we did the block party, and the block party was, we pretty much just had, we had about 5-10 minutes where we just did our own. We went back to back with our own samples.
Yeah.
We picked a subject, and mine was Bad Boy because Diddy is like the sample king.
Yeah.
And you did J. Cole. You did J. Cole, right?
Yeah.
And we did the block party as well. And then at the very end of that night, I think it was that night, I was feeling so good that while E was at the end of his, I came over and stepped in and kind of made my little corner right here.
Yes.
and just shared his IG feed.
That's right.
And that was pretty much the last time that we did over IG Live.
I think it was the first and last time that we were, because you came in, you were over there,
Yep.
and then by the end of the battle, you came back here.
Yep.
You were like, you know what?
Yeah.
I like us being
side by
side.
Yeah.
Using one camera.
Yeah.
So that's what you see today.
That's where we are right now.
Yeah.
That's where we are right now. But everything this was over a period of months. This wasn't like the next time we do this, this was over a period of months.
Yes, it was.
And it just, you know, the idea became bigger and bigger. And, you know, and the ideas of how we were going to set it up, but also the battles that we were doing. There were a lot of discussions that E and I had with the battles that we were going to do. A lot of back and forth, and it was all with, we want to make the best possible show for everybody watching.
Yes.
We want, you know, we want to keep people entertained the whole time. And it was fun. And you know, you so you have, there's a circle of us. You discussed this on the last podcast. There's a circle of us that really do this. At the time, you know, because what I was wondering was, were we going to continue this, or how much were we going to continue this once everybody was back to work?
Right.
Because at the time, you know, I was on furlough, so I had a lot of time on my hands. Mm-hmm. And but once, you know, we get back to work, are we still going to do this? How are we going to fit this in? Who's going to still do it? Mm-hmm. And things like that. And I know our circle. So how did everybody else get into the fold?
So I think once I did the one with my uncle, my sister, she loved the idea. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, at the time, her fiance, now her husband, he loved the idea. My brother loved the idea. And then there was one specific turning point.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I felt like debating that day. And I said, hey, T.I. over 50 Cent. And I posted that on Facebook, and boy, people were ripping me apart. And you know, I issued the challenge to everyone. I said, if you feel so strongly about 50, then, you know, let's do a battle.
Yep. And
nobody took the battle except for my man Tobias. Shout out TB. He said, I'll take it. I'll do it. I'll be 50. And we had a T.I. versus 50 battle.
Yep.
And from then it became pretty competitive.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the competition definitely stepped up.
It was still fun, don't get me wrong, but it was very competitive.
Yeah.
I felt like I needed to prove a point because I felt like T.I. was was getting disrespected crazy. So
Yeah.
shout out him. He let me get that off, and then from there, I think you and Tobias had some.
We had a couple.
Yeah.
Yep. I've done some with Tamilia.
Yes.
Obviously, she beat me down on the Michael Jackson versus Prince.
That's Mike, though.
I mean,
Mike
Mike.
is tough.
I thought I could take Mike, but after about round 3, I was like, I'm in trouble. Mike got some blazes
Mike
on
is
there.
tough.
Mike's tough. And then we did Mariah Carey versus Whitney.
That's right.
That was a really fun one to do.
That was fun.
But yes, I've done most of them with you, and then we even pulled Gamal
Yeah.
into.
Shout out Gamal.
Yep. And then, you know, we come up with ideas. We figure out who is we figure out the rounds, which again we talked about on the last podcast. But one of the things that we started doing with the creative of it was coming up with different regions, different cities,
Yes.
different topics,
Yes.
different things, not necessarily rapper versus rapper, producer
Right.
versus producer.
Right.
It was crew against crew.
Yes.
It was, I love the cities versus cities because you never know where it can go. And it wasn't just, we went beyond rap.
Yeah.
It would be R&B.
Yeah.
And it would be something that we entitled Going Left.
Yeah.
So do you want to explain what Going Left is?
All right. So going left. So we love our hip hop and R&B here, but we also love rock. We love pop.
Yep.
We love jazz. We love everything. So going left is okay. We normally play hip hop and R&B, so we're gonna go a little left. I'm gonna throw some of that rock in there. I'm gonna throw some of that pop in there, just to show you, you know, we listen to everything.
Yeah.
And we just have fun.
And honestly, one of my favorite battle moments, we did a pop round when we did our Timbaland versus Neptune's battle. We did we did a full pop round, and that was fire.
It was
fire.
It was fire.
And so I really like, you know, one of the things I like in the process is just coming up with the creative topics to do. But what, in your opinion, what is your favorite? What are a couple of your favorite topics, battles that you've been a part of?
Well, definitely Timbaland versus Neptune's.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to mess that one up.
That was a classic.
Yeah.
The samples one was a favorite. Chris Brown versus Usher, which we might have to revisit that.
Part 2
of that.
Yes, indeed.
What else? I actually like the one. So we told you we get real creative. So we put letters in a hat.
Yeah.
And we pulled from the hat, and whatever letter you got, you had to get artists or bands that had that letter.
Yep.
And so if you pull out J, okay, I got Jay-Z, I got Janet Jackson. So we pulled like 5 letters. Well, actually, we did 6 rounds. So I pulled 6 letters, and TB had all vowels. So
yeah, vowels versus consonants.
We did vowels versus consonants, and just seeing how creative, what artists you can come up with. You know, something that you never know what's gonna come with those letters. So that was definitely one of my favorites.
I remember watching that one. That was a good one. And I like those. What I like about those type of battles is when you have rapper versus rapper or artist versus artist, you can kind of figure out where the other person is going to go with it, because you know that person, unless you don't know that person's discography,
right?
Then you're going to know, okay, I'm probably going to hear this.
Yes.
When you're talking about cities, when you're talking about vowels and consonants, when you're talking about these different things that you don't just might be like, what is this person going to come up with?
Yeah.
And I know for me personally, my favorite moments in the battles are when I make you go, oh.
Yeah.
That's honestly, I'll put my playlist and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get E with this one. I need E to have a reaction to this one.
Yeah.
That's how I go into it. And I like when you do the same for me. And I'm gonna bring up one of my favorite battle moments is when we did Big versus Little.
Okay.
And in Big versus Little, it was artists that have big in their name versus artists that have little in their name. But also you could have the synonyms to big and little.
Right.
So fat.
Yeah.
You know, Chub. I had Chub Rock.
That one.
You
that
know,
one.
And he had Slim Shady.
Yeah.
He had what was a couple of other ones you had? Don't say the one. Don't say the one because that's what I'm about to say. Yeah, don't say that one. But
so if you think little, okay, Tiny.
Yep.
Okay, who Tiny? Tiny from Escape.
Yep.
So that counts.
Exactly. And I tried to pull one. I did Robin Thicke.
Yeah.
Robin Thicke. He
got me with that one too.
I thought I got him with this one. So then he was like, I don't know. He's doing the thing. He was like, I don't know. I might have cheated with this one a little bit. I said, what he about to play? So he starts playing I'm not going to sing the Loving You. I just said I wasn't going to sing it. He starts playing that one. And I was like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Minnie Riperton. Minnie. I was like, oh my God. I was done after that.
This one, it may be a stretch, but, well, here we go.
This is, what's the name? Minnie Riperton. Minnie!
You're beautiful. It's all
Oh my God, Minnie! Oh wow! I was done after that when he did Minnie Riperton. And I was like, that is the kind of creativity that I love, because that's the kind of stuff that I try to be creative with. And he pulled a Minnie Riperton out, and I said, wow. But those are the kind of I didn't see that one coming a mile away. So
that's what you want.
Yeah,
that's what you want to do. You want to throw something that's way out there, like,
yep. But still applies to.
It still applies.
I mean, it still applies, and I was like, that was a great one.
I'm not gonna lie, that Chubb Rock still.
Chubb Rock.
That one messed me up.
Yeah. I got one for y'all.
Where you get that?
Who know this one?
1990, Chubb Rock jumps upon the scene with the lean in his pocket full of green. The green doesn't symbolize I made it on the top. Once more, last year was a shot. The tone of the Popeye cut shook your butt. Kids are screaming to me, yes, says what? That's really good. I knew the song. The smack in the crack on the whack on the ball and the ball.
I was like, Chubb.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's what we're doing.
But that's the kind of things that we try to bring, and we're still doing it. You know, with all the future battles, and we did the samples. I like to do the blending, and what we call it cooking. Like, we like to cook. So when there'll be times that you'll hear something and be like, wait a minute, this is not part of the topic.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll hold up the finger like, wait,
just wait for it.
Then
Cooking.
I'm cooking here. I'm cooking. I'm throwing in the spice.
Yeah.
I'm throwing in the veggies.
This guy right here is the master chef.
Throwing it in. And
you come up with some blends that I'm just like.
I told you, I'm trying to impress you,
man.
I'm trying to impress you. That's what I'm doing. And I think my favorite reaction that you had was probably you had a couple of them, but I think the one that comes to mind is when we were doing the Kanye Just Blaze versus who'd you have? I had Kanye and Just Blaze.
Was that
it was a super producer one?
Scott Storch and Dr.
And
Dre?
Dr. Dre,
okay.
Yes. Dre and Scott Storch versus Kanye and Just Blaze. And I played Purple Lamborghini, which is neither Kanye or Just Blaze. So I know you were like,
I was so
where
perplexed.
is he going with this?
Yeah, I had no idea.
And let it play through the chorus.
Yeah.
And purple Lamborghini, 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 Lamborghini. True backspin, Lamborghini Mercy. Yo, check these.
Flooded Rolex at the Grammy Awards. They still selling dope, that's those Miami boys. Killers everywhere, it ain't no place to run. Forgive me for my wrongs, I have just begun. Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy. Got that purple Lamborghini lurking. Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy. Lamborghini Mercy, yo chick she so thirsty. I'm in that 2C Lambo with your girl, she tryna jerk me. Lamborghini Mercy, yo chick she so thirsty. I'm in that 2C Lambo with your girl, she tryna jerk me. Lamborghini Mercy.
He literally ran out the ran out the room, and then you hear off camera, you hear, get the fuck out of here. And I
had no idea that was coming.
Crying.
I had no idea.
I was crying, but that was my favorite. That was my favorite reaction that you've had.
That was so
one
good.
of them. That was great.
We have some reactions now.
Yeah, we
on
do.
On here.
Yeah.
Should I tell them
yes.
about?
Yes, you should.
All right, so I apologize. So I know we shouldn't be playing R. Kelly. I know, but there's certain battles I'm like, all right, I'm gonna throw a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
So when the time comes, I play an R. Kelly song, and then as soon as I play it, you're gonna see this. Out. I gotta peace out, and I'm gonna leave the room for a second.
Yep, that's your punishment for playing.
Yeah,
R.
that's
Kelly.
my punishment.
You gotta leave.
Yeah,
you gotta go.
I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm sorry. That's my only one. That's my only one tonight.
And it's not even like he's guest featured on so many hot songs.
Yeah.
Like you want to if you in a Jeezy battle, you want to play Go Getter.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like, oh gosh. And Jay-Z and R. Kelly have so many together.
Yeah.
And it really is difficult. And it doesn't happen much, but if you do it, your punishment,
you gotta get out.
You gotta get out.
You gotta get out of here.
You gotta get out. And there's something, and in TB, we gotta give credit to TB for this one.
Oh yeah.
Because one of the things, if it's hot, because look, we're battling each other, but we also enjoy the music. And you'll catch yourself, he'll play something, and I'm like,
yeah.
You get the nasty face, like, oh, this is fire.
Yep.
So if something's real fire, you be like, all right, I need the headphones. We got the headphones right here. This signifies right here.
You see those headphones? That's
joint
fire.
Is fire right here.
Fire.
This
that's
joint is fire. And you'll see us bopping around with the headphones. It's the most childish thing in the world, but you know what it means. It means it's blazing in here.
Yep. We just have fun.
Yeah, we really have fun.
We do.
So with it. And we're gonna continue to do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna continue to have a good time. We have upcoming battles coming up.
We got some fire battles coming up.
I have one. I know you just had one, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
You just had. Talk about the one you just had.
I had Snoop and Game versus 50 Cent and Eminem.
Yeah.
My brother was 50 Cent and Eminem, and I just felt like, TB, you was throwing a lot of shade about Game and Snoop, so I had to prove him wrong, because I know who 50 Cent, I know Eminem.
Yep.
They got a ton of great music, but so does Snoop and Game. So I thought that was a good matchup to have.
And it really is. This format is really good because a lot of people sometimes will sleep on certain artists.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be like, this artist, and it happens online when they go with the verses, when they talk about who could battle who.
Right.
Who does this person have enough? And it's the whole discography. It's not just, some artists have made great songs, but not necessarily great albums.
Yeah.
Some artists have great features.
Right.
And so there's artists that's known for certain things. And when you're talking about a Snoop, you can't just say, all right, he has just Doggy Style and some No Limit albums. And you gotta understand, Snoop was on the Chronic.
Yeah.
Both Chronic albums.
Both of them. Yeah.
He has many guest features. He's been doing this for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And he has so many guest features and a broad spectrum of music that a lot of people, until you hear it, when you hear the battle that he did, and you're like, I forgot about this one.
I forgot he was on that song.
I forgot about this one. I forgot about this one. Remix. It's one of the things. It's one of my favorite things to do. I had a T.I. versus Busta Rhymes.
Yes.
That we did, and I knew going into it. I was like, I think what's being lost is the shit. Busta Rhymes, in my opinion, does not have a classic album, but he has classic songs and he has classic guest features.
He does.
And if I put all that on a playlist, my part is going to be fire.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
And then don't let me start blending and cooking. That goes into a whole different thing. But that's one of the things that I like about these is you're able to introduce the full picture of the artist in these battles. It's not versus 20 songs, okay, but it's 20 songs that mostly everybody already knows. Yeah,
exactly.
And then what we're doing, we're digging deeper and giving you the forgotten ones, the sleepers.
Yep, the sleepers.
The freestyles.
Yeah.
And, it's all kinds of things that we're bringing to the table with this. And so we have, you and I have a couple coming up.
We have a couple.
What was the last one we just discussed?
I know at some point we're gonna revisit that Chris Brown versus Usher.
Yes, we're definitely gonna revisit that.
Definitely gonna do that. But matter of fact, ever since you said it, I've been thinking about it.
Okay.
The high pitch versus low pitch.
Yes.
That is gonna be interesting.
Yes. Yep. So pretty much, actually, until you just said it, I forgot about that one. The high pitch versus low pitch, and we're gonna do a voice battle, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be the high pitched artist and unique voice. So high pitched and unique versus like the low register, the deep raspy voiced artist, and we're gonna do rap, and we're gonna do R&B.
It's gonna be
and probably
so
a little
good.
going left.
A little bit going left.
So that's gonna be, but those are the type of things because I can't wait to hear what you come up with on that.
I can't wait to hear.
I can't wait to hear what you come up with, and we're doing just one song per artist. So you can only pick one song from that artist. So it's not a whole bunch of DMX. I'm not playing like 12 DMX songs. You're just going to hit DMX one time.
Yep.
And so that's going to be fun. And then I have one against Gamal.
Everybody wants you, man. They want to get in the ring with you.
I'm just humble. I'm just, I mind my business. I sit in my room and just stare out the window.
Yeah, okay.
And,
there's
look at the sunset.
There's a reason they want to bow you. You bring that energy out in there.
I do. I am with all the smoke. I am with all the smoke.
You bring that energy out.
And Gamal and I, we have a good one. We have a producer battle that we're doing. Eric Sermon. I'm representing Eric Sermon and Q-Tip as a producer against Havoc and DJ Premier. That's gonna be that's for hip hop heads for sure.
That's heavy
for sure. So we're doing that one, and we're gonna post. We can't post the battles in full on YouTube, but we can clips. We can put clips. We're gonna integrate the clips into our podcast into its own little part.
Right.
But so you will get a chance to see. But to get the full experience, you definitely want to hop on IG Live, Ease Play 0212.
Yeah, and I'll be sending hints the whole week when there's a battle, so you'll know when the battle is coming.
Yes, indeed. But this is something that this is one of the best ideas I've heard from a person that is one of my best friends, and to hear somebody be this creative and to come up with this idea and for it to expand and for it to grow and for me to be allowed to step into this arena and to contribute in any way I can and for it to go and it's only going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, we have face-offs. Versus, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
We have face-offs.
Face-offs.
I'd like to take his face off.
That's what we do. And, so he started off talking about what we did in 2017, 2018, or 2019. In 2021, he actually allowed me to jump and do one of the live battles with them.
Mm-hmm.
And we did 30 for 30.
30 for 30, indeed.
Celebration of the last 30 years of music.
Yeah.
And
So
what
we
was the split?
So we went from 1990 to 2005. That's what you represented.
Yep.
And then I represented 2006 to 2021.
Yeah.
And we just, again, song for song, going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, with the 90s, it brings you back, like, oh, man, I remember that.
I was trying to go for the nostalgia.
And then, obviously, I have the current stuff. So, you know, the songs you want to hear today, I was playing. So it was a good contrast in sounds. And that's really what we love. We love the contrast in the sounds.
Exactly.
And we love having people tell us, hey, I love what y'all did. I love what y'all are doing.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
That's the best part. And it goes beyond just playing. Like, we're just not playing. We're not going to a Spotify playlist of stuff that they already have and just picking songs.
Right.
Like I challenged him to a slow jams part. We did a slow jams part of the battle.
Yes.
I challenged him to a samples part.
Yes.
And then it's also the surrounding things. It's the food that is being served. It's the poster boards that are being made.
Yes.
It's the dressing up. It's the whole experience that made it real fun.
Yeah.
And it's something I definitely hope that we continue to do.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to continue to come up with ideas for it. But this thing has gotten bigger and better in every iteration of it, and we're just going to continue to do that.
We're going to continue to do it, and like you said in the beginning, them face-offs.
Yep.
With the actors and actresses.
Yep.
That's going to be special.
That's going to be the next podcast.
That's going to be special.
Denzel Washington versus Will Smith. That's gonna be big.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to doing that.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yes, indeed.
Cannot wait.
So for 2023, go Eagles.
You see,
I'm hating.
Rams.
I'm hating.
You already know.
They good. They good. As usual, we thank you. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.